Have you been thinking about going to grad school? Before you spend years of your life in grad school, let's talk a little bit. Just an honest truth I wish someone had told me before I applied. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you guys don't know me, my name is Ayush. I'm a graduate student at Penn State, and today I'm going to help you actually figure out whether you should actually go to grad school or not. Okay. Let's start with graduate school first. Once you complete your undergraduate degree, there are actually quite a few couple of things that you can do. You can actually go to grad school. And if you want to actually break down graduate school, then there are mainly two particular paths. The first one is master's degree. The second is going to be your PhD degree. Depending on countries to countries, your master's degree can be anywhere between 2 to 3 years, and your PhD can be anywhere between 4 to 6 years. And this also depends on particular subjects and particular degree. The question is, do you really want to go to grad school? Do you actually want to go to grad school? That's the biggest question over here. I have actually talked with many different people on why do people come to grad school and so much stuff. And until now, I can actually categorize the reasons why many students come to grad school after undergrad is basically 3 particular reasons. The first reason is going to be money aspects of things. The second reason is actually going to be career aspects of things. The third reason is actually going to be figuring out. Main reason why I actually went to grad school is a combination of these 2 particular reasons, which is actually going to be a figuring out aspect. I actually wanted to figure out like what I was going to do with my life, and the second reason is money aspect. I actually had a job offer of $60,000 per year once I completed my undergraduate degree, but I actually knew myself that I did not want to actually go for a $60,000 job, and I needed more. So for that particular reason, I actually pursued grad school. When you're going to grad school, there are 2 particular ways that you can do it. The first is you can actually first take a master's degree, and after the master's, then you can opt for a PhD, or you can directly go from your undergraduate degree to grad school and directly to your PhD. And if you think in the middle of the way that, okay, PhD is not for me, then you can actually take a master's in the middle, and you can actually quit and then do whatever you want to do. Let's talk about few different aspects first. I really want to talk about the money aspect of things. The main reason why people actually want to go to grad school is mainly because of money aspect of things over here. Okay, and this is the major reason. If you want to go to grad school just for the sake of money, don't go to grad school. It's not worth it. So just get a job directly, and then this job is going to pay you money, and everything should be sorted out in money aspects of things. The reason why I'm telling you is don't go to grad school for the sake of money for 2 particular reasons. If you're going for a PhD, then you are, in most of the cases, you are given a stipend. However, if you're going for a master's degree, in some reasons you gotta pay money. And the second reason is in master's degree, you actually pay money out of your pocket just so that you can earn more money. And I think this is actually not a good way to go, just for if you're going to grad school just for the sake of money. Usually a loophole in that particular case is what's going to be is you actually opt in for a PhD degree, and then in the middle of the day you take a master's degree, and then you go. In that way, you don't have to pay anything out of your pocket, and you can also fulfill the money aspect of things. There are particularly 2 main reasons why I don't think you need to go to grad school for the sake of money. The reason is, I think you are going to spend a lot of time into grad school, and then if you spend that time in your job, then you will be making money. The second is graduate school pays student, I think, very less compared to your undergraduate job, whatever you're going to hold. I think in that way, you're actually going to lose a lot of money on the table if you come to grad school, but just for the sole sake of money. There is another contrasting thing to this particular aspect of things. You actually come to grad school and you are getting paid. So basically, you are getting paid on a degree, while in a regular system of things, you actually have to pay some amount of money over here. You actually have to pay some amount of money over here out of your pocket, but you're actually getting paid usually in PhD, in some cases in masters as well. And I think that is a very contrasting statement, that you are actually coming in order to make more money, but you are also getting paid for a degree. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is a very, very contrasting nature of the degree that graduate school is going to provide to you. And that's why people come for the money aspect of things, thinking that they're going to make more money, but actually graduate school pays very less, but it is actually paying you for a degree. If you want to make a bang for your buck in terms of time, then you should actually get a job, and then that's going to make you more money. The second, what I want to talk is the career aspect of things. And this is, I find very, very interesting. The reason why I find this very, very interesting is because there are a certain career, such as a senior scientist or an analytical chemist. I'm just talking examples in my field. For example, in computer science, you have a senior back-end engineer or something. And these kind of positions or role often requires a higher degree. And it is not necessary that it has to be a PhD degree. It can also be a master's master's degree, but this is the highest degree. PhD is basically the highest degree that you can ever get. After PhD, there are a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to talk about in the later. If you want to come to grad school in terms of career aspect of things, then I think the best option is going to be a master's degree for you. And there are a couple of reasons why I'm telling a master's degree for you. By the way, if you guys have been liking this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up because it somehow helps the algorithm. That's what I just figured out. Thank you very much. Now let's move back into the video. I really like how Cal Newport actually explains this phenomenon that is a career capital, building a career capital. You only want to go to grad school if there is a certain role or certain positions or certain vacancy that is only going to be available once you achieve or once you have this degree, and for that particular reason you want to go to grad school, nothing else other than that. So for example, you want to be a CEO of some certain company or a certain pharmaceutical company, and then you need to have a PhD for it, then definitely you want to go for a PhD. And definitely career aspect and money aspects are very interrelated with each other. The reason is the higher your position is in your career, the more money is equivalent to your career. For that particular reason, the best option would be to get a master's degree. The reason why I'm telling you a master's degree is, imagine you get a master's degree in 2 years, and then your starting salary is going to be, after 2 years, your starting salary is going to be $90,000. This is for master's. I'm going to write M for master's over here. And the second is going to be a PhD. You have year one, I'm going to write this, year one, year two, year three, year four, year 5. By the time you finish your master's and you reach year 5, and your salary is definitely going to be increased, like from, let's say, 90,000 to 120K, and the starting salary once you complete your PhD is going to be $120,000. I do not see what's the difference over here. While all of these particular 3 years you made very less amount of money, compared over here you actually had your leverage for both time, money, and other stuff. So the final balance is basically the same, even if you get a master's degree, even if you get a PhD degree. And basically nobody cares about it. It's that easy. The other thing is, there are basically a few degrees that specifically require in your career aspect of things to get a PhD. And those degrees is like, let's say for example, you want to be an assistant academic professor. In that particular reason, you need a PhD degree, right? If you want to be a professor. And this is like for a primary undergraduate institutions. If you actually want to do like your own research and something, for that specifically in my field, you need to do postdoc. After postdoc, you again have an option to go into industry if you do not get into any job. And then after this, if you do get a job, then you can actually go into academia. So if you want to be a assistant professor with just taking undergraduate degree, then you can actually get a PhD degree and apply for the job. And for that particular assistant professor, you specifically need a PhD degree. The other thing that you need a PhD degree is for if you actually want to go into academia. For that particular thing, you need a PhD degree. In some cases, PhD degree is enough in order to go into academia. In some cases, it is not enough, and then you need to do a postdoc in order to go into academia. And once postdoc, you apply for jobs in order to run a research lab. That's specifically in my field, so that's the reason why I'm telling you all of this. So in terms of career aspect of things, you actually want to figure out what you want to do with your career, and for that particular case you want to go to grad school. If you do not, from an undergraduate degree, you directly want to, for example, let's talk an example of a degree which is computer science. Back in my time, it was 2021 when I completed my undergraduate degree. Computer science was one of the major blooming field, and then at that particular time AI was not there. Right now, many of my friends who did computer science, they directly went for a job because they were actually interested in the money aspect of things, and right now they're making very good amount of themselves. Different fields pay different money in terms of the skills that they actually require, and most of these jobs are like actually in industry. These are actually industry jobs. That was basically career aspect of things. If there is a career that you actually want to do and that does require going to grad school, then you actually do want to go to grad school just for that particular career. And Cal Newport defines this term as career capital. You want to build your career capital. That's the term. Let's come to a really interesting thing, which is figuring out aspect things. The figuring out aspect thing is really very interesting. The reason is, many students who actually after completing their undergraduate degree do not know what to do. They usually think that, oh, I'm going to go to grad school, and then while grad school is continuing, I'm going to figure out my life. But that's usually how it's not done. I think it is really important in order to figure out over here only what you want to do. The reason is, if you go to grad school without figuring out what you want to do, even after completing your degree, you are still going to be figuring out. Even here also, even after, you're still going to figure out what you want to do. The figuring out part never goes away. At this particular point, we're going to think that I'm going to come to grad school and we're going to figure it out. But even after you get your degree, you have still not figured it out. And the reason why I'm telling this is I'm telling it from my personal experience. I thought that, okay, undergraduate degree, I need more money and all those sort of things. But I came to grad school and until now, I've still not figured out what I want to do after like completing grad school. And I'm in my 5th year right now. I think it is high time for me in order to figure out what I want to do, but I've still not figured it out. Right now, I'm just moving with the flow. I do not know what's going to happen. And I think that is figuring out aspect. To sum up this entire flow chart or whatever you call it, if you want to do grad school just for the money aspect of things, just don't do it. Just get an undergraduate degree, get a job, build some side hustles or skills on the side in order to chunk in more money, and then that's gonna cover the money aspect of things. The second is going to be actually a career aspect. So if there is a particular career that you know that you need a graduate level degree, then you want to go for that particular degree, and you want to figure out for that actual career role whether you need a PhD degree or a master's degree, and you decide based on that particular career aspect of things. The third and the final, which I do not suggest to you, is going to be figuring out aspect. And figuring out aspect is a red zone over here. The reason why it is a red zone is you actually want to figure out itself from your undergraduate degree itself what you want to do and where you want to end up in. Even if you go to grad school, you take a master's degree, you'll still be figuring out, and even if you get a PhD, you'll still be going to be figuring out. So for that particular reason, this is not a good way to go in. I hope this video was helpful, and then it's going to help you to make some wise decisions whether you want to go to grad school or not. If you guys like this video, then you're actually going to love this video on how do I spend my day as a graduate student. Till then, stay safe and I'll see you again soon. Peace.